So, it's been 4 months since my last Hogwarts Legacy video in which I went over just about everything there is to know about the game, and to be honest with you, I was fully expecting Avalanche to have come out with a good deal of information by this point. As I said in the video, E3 was right around the corner, and since it had been nigh on a year since they revealed the game, it would have made perfect sense for them to drop something. Maybe a trailer, but we didn't get anything. Not even a screenshot, a poster, a gif, an update tweet, not even a crumb of information has been put out about this game in over a year. And that's made me big sad. So I've decided to intervene and fill the void with a little wish list of some things that I and some boys on Twitter would like to see appear in the game. Also real quick, this is, like my whole channel, very much inspired by James or Lasers and his wishlist series. So go ahead and sub to him if you like these kinds of videos, but better. Before we hop into the video, I ask that you check out the links in the description, like and subscribe with post notifications on so you don't miss out on any new uploads. But with that being said, kick back, take a few swigs of some butterbeer and enjoy. This is 10 features Hogwarts Legacy needs. Okay, so our first wish comes from the boy Theo, and he says, good character creation is probably my #1 thing I want to see, but I also hope that the combat system is in depth and keeps adding things as the game progresses. And yeah, this is something that I feel is very important for adding depth to the game. A proper intricate character customization system allowing the player to decide which house, wand, patronus, gender, hairstyle, body type, height, type of clothing, whether that be fully robed or just a shirt and slacks they want, would be a fantastic addition to the game, and the same goes for the combat aspect of things, allowing the player to maybe master a certain type of spells or magic and boosting your ability with said magic during gameplay would be great, and it's something that I believe Avalanche has put a lot of thought into, so I can't wait to see how that turns out. Next up is my good mate Summer Dillon, and he says, hey mate, sorry, hey man, the main game doesn't have to be multiplayer, but I would like some online aspects, like how cool would it be to play an actual in-depth Quidditch game with other players. Yeah, Dylan has hit the nail on the head here. An online aspect of the game that's somewhat separate to the main single player story driven part of the game would be very welcome. It's always been a hope of mine to get to absolutely annihilate my mates in a game of Quidditch, so I'd very much like this to happen. Even if it's not necessarily online, I think Quidditch will definitely be in the game in some form or another. If they could literally just take the Quidditch World Cup game that was on PS2 and just like make it look better and add a few crisp animations, that would be sick. That game is goated. If you've got a PS2 and you can get your hands on it, you should definitely give it a go. Our third wish is from Corwin, and he says, let me be evil, let me do dark arts, let me crucio fuckers. Now while I appreciate your enthusiasm, Corwin, I do not like your use of such foul language. Shameful, honestly. Fucking prick. But nah, I think this is like the most likely thing on this whole list. I'd be shocked if they didn't give you the option to be evil, or just to pursue the dark arts at the very least. And it's been a minute since I researched the game, so I may be wrong, but I feel like they've already actually said this would be the case. Maybe not, but either way, this would be sick and would definitely help to reinforce replayability in the game. You can play through the game a couple of times and get two completely different stories, you know. Next we have Lucas, who says, the immersion into the wizarding world. I really want to feel what I felt when I watched the Harry Potter movies and read the books. I just want to feel like I'm in the world. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say this is a must for any piece of media set in the wizarding world really, but even more so for a game of this magnitude. And from what I can tell, the dev team over at Avalanche are huge fans of this IP, and if we can trust anyone to assure we feel like we really exist in this world, it's true fans with passion for said world. Jane Magician says, a wide variety of spells to learn throughout the game, and a separate path for dark magic. If we continue using and mastering dark magic, you will be suspicious to certain characters and may be trusted by others, basically a reputation system. This kinda links up with what Theo and Corwin were saying. an in-depth magic system with an abundance of spells at the player's disposal and the option to explore the dark arts only. As Jay says, they could implement a reputation or honor system, wherein the characters in the world will react differently to you depending on what kind of magic you choose to delve into. And I think this is a pretty interesting idea to explore. A similar system was used in the Fable games, and it was used very well, so if they managed to do something like that, that'd be cool. One thing I really wouldn't want to happen though is the player being locked out of certain quests or activities, which happens in some RPGs, because I think that's just a bit annoying, to be honest. The player should have the freedom to do every quest. Maybe the particulars of a quest could change depending on your allegiances and stuff, which would be cool, but to completely lock off a quest just because your character knows dark magic would just be unnecessary, in my opinion. Next up is Alex, who would like one-on-one duels, says it would be the best thing ever. And you know what, Alex mate? I agree. Regulated dueling is a part of Wizarding World culture that I think wasn't explored or used nearly enough in the Harry Potter series, and this could be the chance to rectify that. Having a rivalry with another character and maybe deciding to settle it in dueling club would be really cool, or even just having friendly competitions with other students to practice your magic and level up your character would be cool as well. Outside of this, informal dueling is definitely a part of the game, as we can see the player character battling a dark wizard in the reveal trailer. So we have that to look forward to regardless of if there is an actual dueling club system in the game.
Creeper. Oh man.
Says, I want to go to Hogsmeade and have some fucking butterbeer. Oh mate, same. And you'll be happy to know that Hogsmeade is in fact part of the game's world. We can see it in the trailer right here. Now whether or not you can actually cruise into the Hog's Head and down a few pints with the lads, I don't know. But I don't think it's too far-fetched to assume it's a possibility. I believe they'll actually have a good few buildings, shops and that we'll be able to use to stock up on different supplies, maybe craft and materials that we need in the game, or even to get new story or side quests. Next up we have Fading, who says, The Legacy of Hogwarts. Yeah, that's the name of the game, mate. Well done. Now for real though, considering the game is called Hogwarts Legacy, I would be expecting the idea of Hogwarts having some sort of a legacy to be a vital plot point. Maybe in the way I suggested in my previous Hogwarts Legacy video, being that our character is a secret descendant of one of the founders of Hogwarts, and when we arrive, the school reacts somehow, and that brings up the concept of its legacy, and what that means for the Wizarding World and its inhabitants. To be honest, I feel like Avalanche should just hire me at this point because I'm just dropping bangers left, right and centre, do you know what I mean? Like, Avalanche, email me if you want my CV. Anyway, moving on, we have my stick brother Oscar, and he says, a story that isn't a you are the chosen one plot. Let the player be their own thing in it. Now while I think this could definitely be an interesting idea to explore, I don't think it's very likely to be the case with Hogwarts Legacy. Consider this line from the game's official website. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the Wizarding World apart. You have received a late acceptance to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic. Now does that sound like someone who isn't a chosen one type character? No, not really. And to be honest with you, I don't really have an issue with chosen one stories. I think, given the right material and some good writing, they can be done really well. And they're making a Harry Potter game, they weren't ever gonna not do a chosen one story, were they? It's a tried and true formula, they know it works, so of course they're gonna do it. Alright, and lastly, but definitely not worstly... Is that a word? Worstly? Worstly? No, it's definitely not. I'm just stupid. Our final wish today comes from Big... Oh, hey, that's me. That's so crazy. What a coincidence. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. All jokes aside, I would really like there to be a big variety of Fantastic Beasts in the game. And by that, I don't mean a bunch of copies of Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2 just hanging around the Forbidden Forest. Although, that would amuse me. But no. I really want to see loads of random obscure creatures in the game that we've yet to really explore thoroughly in this world. Some examples being griffins, thunderbirds, phoenixes, centaurs, merpeople, water dragons, kelpies, giant squid, werewolves, even vampires. who you would probably be shocked to know exist in the wizarding world as they're barely ever talked about. But the possibilities are endless really, and we've already seen a few fantastic beasts in the reveal trailer. We saw, or didn't see in this first case, Thestrals, Mooncalves, Hippogriffs, Inferi, Dementors, Graphorns, Trolls, and even Dragons. Oh, and by the way, while I'm on dragons, I think they're going to be a pretty big part of this game, as we see our character having at least 3 encounters with this same dragon in the trailer. And one of the descriptions for the player character on the game's website is, the one who defies dragons. So maybe our character's special magical ability, unique to them, could have something to do with dragons and our connection to them. I could be wrong, but personally I think this would be sick. I love dragons, they're just so cool. So yeah, I'd love if this was the case. Getting back to Fantastic Beasts in general, I think this game would really benefit from having a deep catalogue of creatures to show off. Hogwarts Legacy is a game that I'm very much looking forward to, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that we haven't heard anything about it since it was delayed back in January. But nonetheless, it's still very anticipated in my books. I should mention also that there is a slight possibility that we'll see something new from Avalanche regarding Hogwarts Legacy sometime soon, as it's been reported by an apparently reliable source that for one, the game was originally scheduled to be shown at the most recent PlayStation showcase, and two, that the now expected next showcase of this game will either be sometime this month or at the Game Awards in December. Now as always, take this with a grain of salt because we really have no way of telling if this person is correct, but it's worth noting anyway. But whenever we do know more for sure about the game, you can be sure I'll be here to break it all down, so make sure you like and subscribe for that. But anyway boys, with that being said, I've been Ben and I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Peace.